We are in the exciting phase of realizing new dreams, a new vision, and new ideas. My name is Gnaneshwar Mule, your Consul General in New York. Ask Your CG is our joint venture with ITV to serve you better. In this show with Ashok Vyas, every month on ITV, we will share the latest developments and address all of your concerns. Ask Your CG on ITV.
Namaskar. So many people who want to travel to India, and there are people who tell good things about India, and they hear about visa on arrival, and so the general conception which one derives by this term visa on arrival, meaning you reach and you get the visa. But probably that is not the case. Please explain what is visa on arrival.
Yes, I must admit there was some confusion in the beginning with the word of visa on arrival. So some people actually went there and they were turned back. This is not going to happen anymore. It's not visa on arrival. The correct term is electronic tourist visa, electronic e-visa, ETV it is called, ETV. So इसमें जो है, you have to apply online, pay online, the very simple few questions, and you are given a limit of 3 days within which the visa is approved. However, generally the visa is given in the first few hours itself. It is not that it takes 3 days. And then once you have the visa, you can go anytime. And I'm very happy to say that this has worked very successfully. Every month from USA alone, we have about 11,000 tourists traveling on ETV, that is electronically available tourist visa, electronically enabled tourist visa. So this has opened a entirely new chapter in tourism with India. I must also share another good news that the 10-year multi-entry visa to India, which is to be applied, and it comes to the consulate, and we are very, very liberal about it. Generally, anybody who applies gets the 10-year visa. And I must share this news that now the visa fee for this has been reduced from $150 to $100.
That's very good.
Yes, so it has become cheaper. So those of you who wish to travel to India, please take a 10-year multi-entry visa at a reduced cost. I must also say that the general improvements across the service provider, the consulate has shortened the time of delivery. As a result, the number of complaints we received have come to almost zero now. We rarely receive complaints about the services, and those which we receive have generally some element of rule or regulation involved, which doesn't sometimes favor the applicant, and we have to delay it, or there are certain cases in which we have to refer the matter to Delhi. Otherwise, in a general sense, there's a huge improvement in our visa and passport and OCI services.
So let this trend of improvement continue, huge improvement in terms of visa and passport services. And I repeat what Consul General just mentioned, it's not visa on arrival, so to say, it is ETV. And I wanted to say this because you are hearing about ETV on ITV. So here this is electronic tourist visa, that is the new term for the new service which is offered now. And also when you hear something that it is now available for lower price, so $150 to $100 for 10-year multiple entry visa, that's something which is very, very welcome by anyone who wants to visit potentially on frequent basis to India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi recently visited our neighboring country Canada, and there also he addressed a gathering which brought him again the same title of being a rock star politician. Anything specific about his visit that you consider significant as ambassador?
I think Prime Minister's visit to France, Germany and Canada is kind of a unique tour, particularly Canada, you mentioned the right thing, is the first time in several decades that an Indian Prime Minister has made a stand-alone visit to Canada. Means it is not connected with any other country in the North America. So it's a unique visit, and what it did to our relationship is beyond description. It has, created a surge of interest in India. It has strengthened the relations at the top level. We have many strategic commitments from the Canadian side. The Sikh community in US has been, assured of our PM of continued, special attention. That is also a special recognition of their contribution. He also went and paid respects at a temple as well as a Gurudwara, which is also a unique thing. But the most important thing that happened is the Prime Minister Harper of Canada, he accompanied our Prime Minister at almost every engagement. What it shows is the new level and a new chemistry between our two countries. And this is what happening in so many countries. You have seen earlier the visit of President Obama, prior to that our Prime Minister's visit to US, his address at Madison Square Garden. So there is a absolutely fantastic, what should I say, chemistry now being that is being developed by India with these countries.
So there are some challenges which we face individually. There are some challenges we face as a nation or as a part of the human race. So shifting our attention towards some of the concerns that we have as community, as nation, as being a part of this human race. And from that point of view, now I take you first to the problem of some parents who are in a peculiar situation. So let me read a letter of one Mr. Ravi Parmar. He says, what actions, if any, is the government of India taking to combat the growing pandemic of international parental child abductions to India? And I skipped some of the references, but essentially he says that India doesn't honor valid foreign court orders of the Hague Convention on civil aspects of the international parental child abduction. So in essence, there are some mothers here, fathers have taken the kids to India, or father is here, mother is in India with the kid, and there are legal issues which prevents them from reuniting. Yes. Anything that you can offer?
Well, I must say that we are aware of this issue. I have also read particularly the recent discourse that has come in the newspapers and through articles, and we are very sensitive because a child abduction is a serious issue and we have to attend to it. What we do particularly, if we get any particular references, because there can't be a generalization. Each case has its own background, has its own legal background, implications. So whenever we receive any such request, we forward it to the concerned authorities in India. Now it is up to the authorities to see, how to deal with this. So while, I don't think the solution lies with us at the consulate, I would like to assure that consulate as well as Government of India is sensitive to such cases.
Talking about the sensitivity, now moving towards a similar area where many NRIs find themselves in a very frustrating box because of the delay in the way lawsuits happen in Indian courts. And I know you don't have any direct way of using any magic wand and making it happen. But if there's anything that Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs or Ministry of Law and Justice thinking of doing to expedite lawsuits in Indian courts, especially for NRIs. And this question comes from Vikram Jagtiani, who is also writing that people of Indian origin are forced to litigate in India as Indian courts asserts jurisdiction even when litigating parties are foreign nationals or non-residents of India. So there are some overlap issues here.
Yeah. Number one is judiciary is, as you know, is independent in India. However, it is acknowledged that there are delays. and the pending cases in Indian courts are considerably large. There is no denying of that. However, both the government as well as the judiciary, they are aware of this. In the last few years, steps have taken to increase the number of judges. There have been special tribunals made. There are certain fast track courts, for example, for offenses like rapes. So it's not that government is not taking action. Currently, I think in my understanding, the people to judge ratio, that is not quite sufficient. So per 100,000 population, we do not have enough judges. But government is aware of this. Government is also aware of the large number of pending cases, and there are constant efforts to increase the efficiency, because under the new government, good governance has become one of the priority areas for the government. So this particular issue is also under very much in the government's radar, and government is addressing that. Now, it cannot be NRI cases cannot be necessarily delinked from the general judiciary, because NRIs are essentially Indian citizens.
Absolutely.
So they are subjected to Indian laws, and except that they are not staying for the entire year in India. So, but if there are any specific cases where government can refer, because judiciary, as I said, is independent, these can be, if there is anything that we can do, we will be happy to receive any representations or any requests. Ask Your CG is our joint venture with ITV to serve you better. In this show with Ashok Vyas, every month on ITV, we will share the latest developments and address all of your concerns.
Mr. Dhyaneshwar Murali, there are many news items that we read. We feel very bad, we feel pained, we are filled with a sense of helplessness. There is one gentleman who runs who is part of Save Indian Farmers. He's Secretary Hemant Joshi. He wants to know about government's plan of action in making sure that no farmer finds himself in this situation, and in what way any ideas that you can share with NRIs who are compassionately thinking of doing something constructive in this direction.
Farmers' issue in India, particularly the suicide issue, has received a lot of attention from government. Government has worked out a number of packages in the past, and it's this particular thing, wherever it happens, Delhi is not known for such incidents. This is a very unfortunate incident that has happened in Delhi, and the government is very, very attentive. The fact that Prime Minister immediately issued a statement expressing his grief shows that he is personally monitoring. Yes, more action is required on the part of state government. Maybe central government has to do more coordination. But I'm sure these issues do not go unattended in India.
Actually, there's another disturbing news that I want to sort of bring to your attention, and that relates to, now this time, a doctor at a prestigious hospital in Delhi committed suicide, and this was a complex issue. Again, she was married to this person who happened to be gay, so there was some potential reasons that led to tension, etc. Now, this brings the discussion about Indian laws with respect to LGBT community, etc. And there are many activists here also who question India's approach. Of course, in this particular case, it may not directly be related to, or may not. So, your response?
Well, Ashokji, I feel that, again, I express my shock and grief at the tragic death of this particular doctor. But I personally would feel that she was misguided. She shouldn't have taken her life. Life is too precious.
Right.
And India is a democracy. There are options available. You can get counseling very easily. There are options of going out of your marriage. Our courts are quite liberal in interpreting the law, and they generally goes in favor of women. because there's a past gender injustices committed on women. But so far as the general issue of LGBT and sexual persuasions, sexual choices is concerned, it's a larger issue that is being discussed all over the world. The debate has not died even in the United States of America. It's not that all states here approve. It's not that all people approve here. So it's a matter that, in my view, is very much in India. It's being a democracy. These matters are discussed openly, publicly, and nothing is hidden. Government doesn't try to hide these facts that happen in society. And courts in India constantly interpret these developments, because courts are cognizant of the developments taking place in society, the fact that aspirations are changing. So many, not only sexual choices, it's also in the field of economic area, it's in the social arena, cultural arena, man-woman relationship, the marriage itself has undergone so many changes in India. So the courts are quite cognizant of this fact, and of course we have a constitution under which we have to work. My own interpretation is the individual's rights are quite well guaranteed under Indian constitution. Now you can take it further and see whether this law is good, that law is good, whether that is really a matter of, I would say, interpretation. And my assessment is that Indian courts, when it comes to personal matters, are generally very, very liberal, and they generally are, it goes always in the favor of weaker person, whosoever it might be. And courts do ensure that justice is, discharged. Ask Your CG is our joint venture with ITV to serve you better. In this show with Ashok Vyas, every month on ITV, we will share the latest developments and address all of your concerns. We are having many mini outreaches being conducted by our service providers in cooperation with other Indian organizations like GoPO, like FIA, and we encourage this. The idea is more and more people develop this confidence that they can access the service very easily. The services are transparent, efficient, and friendly. Service with a smile, that's our motto. Our creative activities go on. Our monthly lecture series this year is being called Womanity. This is our way of paying respect to women. All our next 12 speakers are going to be women. So we are very, very excited. Already we have had 2 addresses by women. Both of them have been outstanding and very, very well received. So I appeal through you, through ITV, to the audiences that be part of the consulate's various programs, participate enthusiastically in community activities, do take part in the local charities to help the local communities. Indian community is doing very well, and we are thankful to the Almighty for that. So, but we need to partake a bit of our own happiness.
A quick request for information. Someone who wants to be a part of the events organized by this office, how they can connect with you?
Please find us on Twitter, on Facebook page, on our website, where all these events have been announced. They are all free and open, and you have to just send us an email saying that I am interested and I am going to bring with me a few Americans or other friends of mine, because we want these events not only for Indian Americans but also for the mainstream Americans, irrespective of where they have come from or where do they belong.
Wonderful. So on that note, thanking Ambassador Dhyaneshwar Muleji for joining us today. And we covered a gambit of a wide range of issues with a sense of balance that he's blessed with, and he has developed that with the help of yoga.
India and yoga are being celebrated as if never before. Never before India has been celebrated in such a manner in the modern times. We are here in the courtyard of the temple, and I thought I must, taking cue from Umaji's speech,
make my speech in Sanskrit. I hope you do not mind that. आदरणीय मंदिर अध्यक्ष उमा मैसोरकर, आदरणीय विदेश मंत्री सुषमा जी, अमेरिका स्थित भारतीय राजदूत श्री अरुण कुमार सिंह, सन्नार्यः सज्जनाः, शुभे अस्मिन् अंतर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवसावसरे अत्र भवतां स्वागतं वदामि। I know I have to later on, I'll summarize in the end only with one line. चतुर्दशतमे वर्षे सेप्टेम्बर् मासे सप्तविंशतितमे दिवसे समादरणीय भारतीय प्रधानमन्त्रिणां श्री नरेन्द्र मोदी महोदयेन संयुक्त राष्ट्र महासभायाः नवषष्ठ अधिवेशने प्रदत्तम् अभिभाषणम्। योगः प्राचीनायाः भारतीय परम्पराः अमूल्य उपहारत्वेन वर्तते। अयं मनसा देहस्य च विचारस्य कर्मणस्य च संयमस्य पूर्णताया च मध्ये ऐक्यं स्थापयति, मानवस्य प्रकृतेः च मध्ये समन्वयं साधयति, आरोग्यस्य सुखस्य च मध्ये पूर्णतान्वितायाः पद्धते सामञ्जस्यं विवर्धयति। योगः न केवलं शारीरिक व्यायामत्वेन परिगणनीयः, परन्तु प्रकृत्या जगता च साकम् अस्मदीय ऐक्यभाव अन्वेष्टुम् अयं सम्प्रेरयति। अस्मदीयायाः जीवनशैल्याः परिवर्तनीय चेतनायाः संरचनाय च अयं जलवायु परिवर्तनम् अनुकूलयितं साहस्यं कर्तुं शक्नोमि। अन्तर्राष्ट्रीय योग दिवसस्य स्वीकरणार्थम् अस्माभिः सम्भूय कार्याणि आचरणीयानि। आयोजनम् इदं सफलयितुम् अत्र भवद्भिः अनुष्ठिताय सर्वविधाय सहयोगाय अतितरां धन्यवादान् वदामि। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार। In one sentence, I summarized part of our Honorable Prime Minister's speech at the United Nations 69th General Assembly last year, and thereafter I appealed all of you to make it further a success and continue this tradition, and my heartfelt thanks to all of you. With these words, thank you so much.
And let's practice Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Thank you, Ashokji. It's always
Thank
a
you
pleasure.
very much, Muraliji, and thanks to all of you for being with us, and do join again and again this special show, Ask Your CG. This is Ashok, yes.
We are in the exciting phase of realizing new dreams, a new vision, and new ideas. My name is Gnaneshwar Mule, your Consul General in New York. Ask Your CG is our joint venture with ITV to serve you better. In this show with Ashok Vyas, every month on ITV, we will share the latest developments and address all of your concerns. Ask Your CG on ITV.